Well, this is my bead roller. So these used to be ridiculously expensive. I mean, there was a sort of like online motorsports company that was selling these for about 200 quid. And they used to be about 50 quid on eBay from China. So you'd have to add on all the customs duty and the VAT before you got it. But nowadays, before Christmas, I managed to pick this one up for 20 quid off of eBay from a UK seller. But yeah, as you'd expect, it's not the best quality in the world. So what we're going to do is strip it down because it's not exactly performing as it should. So quite easy to do. Undo the adjustment knob at the top, just unwind that comes off. Undo the 4 bolts that are underneath and then drive out this pin here and the whole lot will come out the middle. Then we'll be able to see what's going on inside. Basically, this spring goes in here and it hinges on that part. When you set the tension of it to change how deep the bead is, essentially it pivots on this point here. So when it's open, the gears aren't fully meshed. So it's pretty cheap. I mean, you get what you pay for, obviously, but that's basically what you get. The problem is it's pretty rough in operation, and as you can see, this top gear is essentially chewing its way into the lower block. There's no sort of thrust bearings or washers or anything on this back edge. So I'm going to try and improve that basically. I mean, it does have the phosphor bronze guides at the front, which is where obviously all the effort's being sort of pressed onto the tube to make the bead. But yeah, I've already sort of slightly bent the shaft of this, where essentially this gear was kind of jamming on this, and it really was rough as a bucket of bolts to turn. So yeah, I'm going to go do a bit of a quick and dirty machining on this. And as you can see from the top, that's obviously where this screw to set the tension of it is sort of chewing straight into that aluminium block there as well. It would be nice if that had some sort of plastic sort of sacrificial piece on it or something. We'll see what we can do there, but definitely going to work on this. I mean, to be fair, it's quite a large surface area, but you can already see that that's chewing its way into that block as well. So yeah, I'll strip it down, make a few bits, and I'll pick you guys up when I'm done. So there we go. It's a 10 by 14 by 1 copper washer on the smaller shaft for the lower cog, and it's obviously the outside diameter of that is smaller than the root where the bottom of the teeth are, so the top cog doesn't chew into it when they're meshing. I was going to put a 10 by 16 on the upper shaft as well. The problem with that is I left my milling machine at work, and trying to sand this down is taking forever, so I've just gone with the classic beer can shim. So a piece of chopped up beer can outer. Obviously that's sort of paper thin, it won't last forever, but it's probably better than that cog chewing into this soft arse aluminium. So yeah, knocked the corner off of the lower block, because obviously that's where the upper teeth cog was chewing into it. So I've swazzed the corner off of that to give it some clearance, so there's no way it can eat that. And obviously, because of the extra thickness of that, this block is now moved back. So I've had to slot the holes in the bottom of this, so I can now position that rear block further back. And obviously that should help sort of align the two together to stop this sort of stuff chewing into each other. So yeah, going to chuck some general purpose grease on it. And yeah, swaz it all back together, and then we'll go give it a test run. There we have it. So much better feel to it. I mean, you can still hear the teeth knocking against each other, but at the end of the day, the teeth, like I say, aren't fully engaged. They only engage on a corner unless you sort of tighten it up a bit. But whereas before, the first time I tried to use it, essentially the handle sort of like bound and got stuck, and that's how I twisted sort of like the square on the end of the shaft. This handle sucks. It's aluminium, and obviously that's some sort of steel. So yeah, I may end up changing this end, welding a nut on or something, because this is already sort of starting to chew its way out. So yeah, rolls a decent bead. It's a lot easier to handle, whereas before it was essentially you were fighting the sort of like the gearing of the teeth chewing itself to bits, as well as it trying to form this bead on there, which was no good for anyone. So yeah, I'll strip it down now just to make sure nothing's eating itself, but I think we fixed it.